Each year, more than 100 babies are born in the UK, missing part of one or both arms and hands. For many of the families of these children, it is the first time they will have come across such a disability. Hello and welcome to a discussion about discovering your child has an upper limb deficiency. And I'm joined by the Faulkner family, the Place family, and also by Sian Brooks, who is a trustee at Reach. And for you, Sian, it was a very personal involvement, wasn't it?
My son Joe, he was born 17 years ago with his hand missing, and it was a real shock when it first happened. To be honest, I think my world just fell apart just in those few minutes. But then when I got taken up to special care with my husband, he was just gorgeous, you know. But yeah, it was a big shock.
Stuart, you were nodding your head there about that sort of moment, and of course for you and Sarah when Sophie was born. Maybe talk us through, you know, your emotions and how you were feeling when you first discovered.
They passed me this little bundle wrapped up, which was Sophie, and I was sort of having a look and just sort of quite amazed, in a little daydream, different world really. And this little hand tried to appear out of the towel. She was trying to get her thumb in her mouth, so I sort of helped her a little bit and I moved her hand, and when I moved her hand I looked and I thought, well, there's only 3 fingers there, and I must have counted them hundreds of times, and I just my emotions just hit the ground. I felt like the end of the world, and I looked at Sarah after about 10 minutes, and Sarah could see that I'd sort of got tears in my eyes, and we had no idea. The scans hadn't picked anything up. Scans were good. Everything looked fine. They counted everything out. Everything should have been there, and when Sophie turned up, there was a finger missing. But no, it was to me like the end of the world. You feel like the only person in the world that's ever gone through it.
So Sarah, when you know your emotions are at a real high at that moment, yeah. You know, so many things going on in your brain, and then you get given that news by Stuart. What was your initial feeling, reaction?
The first thing that went through my mind is the midwives didn't say, and obviously, like Stuart said, it wasn't picked up on scan, so, you know, I didn't even sort of at that point think that far back. I thought, well, surely the midwives must have noticed.
So Sian, putting this in some form of perspective, how many children are actually born with an upper limb deficiency?
There's about 1 in 30,000.
So Mike and Kate, your daughter Hallie, how did you first discover about her?
We discovered the moment she was born. We'd had a couple of scans, and we'd had the reports through saying that there was 10 fingers and 10 toes, so we weren't expecting anything at all. She was born after a 36-hour labour, so you know we were both quite afraid at the time. And she came out. They immediately put her on Kate's chest. I spotted it within a couple of seconds, and my immediate reaction was, "Why aren't they doing anything? Have they spotted it?" And I think you sort of spotted it then, and said, "There's something wrong with her hand." And I kept thinking, well, they're going to do something about it. They'll sort it out. It's fine. And then I can't remember what the midwife said, but she leant down to Kate and said, you know, it's okay. You know, she might struggle, but she'll be okay. And that's when I knew that it was something that wasn't going to change. And that's when I knew it was something that was going to be permanent, I suppose.
It was obviously very tired, and you know you kind of confused, I guess, because they put her on me and she was wrapped up, but it's the left hand, which is her affected hand, was sticking up through the towel, so you could only see that hand. So saying that there's something wrong with her hand, and nobody said anything. And I'm saying there's something wrong with her hand. There's something wrong with her. What else is wrong with her? All that was going through my mind was just, well, if that's wrong, what else is wrong? And it felt like hours of silence. It can't have been, I guess, but this midwife said, she's beautiful, just enjoy her. And I thought that meant that there was other things wrong, and I thought that meant that this baby was going to die, and it was awful. I mean, if you'd have known before, it would have been fine. It was just, you know, that moment that's supposed to be the most wonderful moment ever, and it was one of the worst moments of my life, because I just thought my baby was going to die. That was my I suppose, so tired, you see something wrong, no one's talking, no one will answer you, and
So guys, I can imagine one of the big questions you must be thinking when you first discover is the why. Why me? Why this situation? Why is it all happening? How do you deal with that, or how do you come to sort of ask those questions?
I think for us it was time. Reach were brilliant. Unfortunately, we didn't get put in touch with Reach until Sophie was a year old. So it was a lot of the family network, Stuart and I pulling together with our older daughter, thinking, okay, this is how she is. We traced back through what we'd done, you know, when I was pregnant, you know, before she was conceived, you know, there's got to be something we've done. And we got to the point where, you know, we were safe in the knowledge that we hadn't done anything wrong. It was just one of those things. And that was when we sort of accepted it a bit more, really, I suppose, wasn't it?
Time is a great thing, but it is, you do search for the reason, the why. And after a while, you just get to the point that the why doesn't matter anymore. It's carrying on from that. You forget the why, but there's always in the back of your mind just a little thing, still wondering, and always will be, but you know, the why disappears in the end, but it's still there.
Now, one of the things that you've all mentioned is about talking to friends, family, siblings and so on, because that must be quite a difficult moment to think, right, how am I going to approach this?
you were great. Like you say, you were really practical. I was just, I think, cried for about a week and didn't want to see anyone, didn't want to talk to anyone. So the only person that said to me that I'm just so sorry was my mum. Everyone else just said, oh, don't worry, it doesn't matter. And like you say, I've got ginger hair or whatever, you know, and make these silly comparisons, but nobody really understands it. I think it was just my mum that said, I'm so sorry, Kate, you know. It's difficult telling people.
So how did you all find Reach and find the tremendous benefits that Reach had in terms of talking to other people in your situation?
We were directed to Reach via Great Ormond Street, weren't we? So we had an appointment made at Great Ormond Street, and we had a letter confirming the appointment, and it said about Reach. So I think you looked in and signed us up.
And how old was Hallie at this stage?
Oh, a couple of months old.
She was, 3.5 months.
3.5 months, yeah.
So would it have helped if somebody had said at the moment of delivery or the moment of discovery that there's a support network out there?
There was literally no sort of assistance, was there, from our hospital where Hallie was born?
It was, off you go. We'll send you a letter in the post about going to see a specialist at some point.
Tell us a little bit about the support you first got when you contacted Reach.
It's just overwhelmed by how much support, and even another parent just saying, I completely understand my child may have a completely different deformity with the hand or wrist or whatever that it might be, but you're not alone.
Sarah signed up with Reach, and then the benefits, I noticed the benefits with Sarah. It really helped Sarah, and then later on it started to make me realise, you know, we're not the only ones in the world that have, you know, had this similar thing.
And the support you get that way is just brilliant. You know, you're not made to feel that one deformity is worse or less severe than the other. Whatever the child has got, you know, that's the hand that's been dealt with them, if you like, and they just, you're given the support to help that child grow and develop into, you know, a normal, happy, confident child. So that support is phenomenal for me.
What really did it for me was when we went to the Christmas the Christmas party that they organised, and to come in and see for the first time so many, you know, children, you know, older than Hallie. Hallie was only, she wasn't even one then, who were just getting on and happy and just playing around like any other children would. It was amazing. I was nearly in tears. It was amazing.
The charity does help make it a bit easier, doesn't
And I
it?
think as a parent, the charity gives you that confidence to be able to instill that belief, the self-belief in the child as well.
It's a sense of belonging, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Getting the emails around that we get, like we've got one recently about the summer camp that's going to be running, and it's for children, I think, 10 years old and up, I think. And I can't wait till she's 10 so she can go, you know, and just so that, I know just from little comments she's made, where she's very young, but little comments she's made about, oh, well, my friends have got different hands and I want two hands like my friends, and and mummy, why isn't your hand like mine, and things like that. And I just love the fact that she's got, when she's older, I'll say, well, you can go on this trip, you can do abseiling, you can do kayaking, you can do all this stuff, and everyone will be like you. And she may not want to go, she may want to, but I love that there is that option.
I presume, obviously, talking to you as families, very different conditions, very different deficiencies. I suppose at least being part of REACH, you get an opportunity to speak with people who've got maybe conditions close to your own daughters, so you've got a quite a practical way of dealing with things.
Yeah, I mean, we met, I forget his name now, but he was a guy in his mid-20s, I think, who had a very similar deficiency to Hallie.
At the AGM.
At the AGM, yeah. And he'd had sort of custom-made quite a lot of tools that would help him ride a bike, eat, play various sports and stuff like that.
Rock climb,
climb. And it was amazing. He'd had them custom-made and designed, but his hand was very similar to Hallie's, so it was really good to know that, someone can develop a tool that can help her if she's having trouble.
With things that I've had, I've thought, now do I phone the office or do I go on Facebook? And I think, well, I'll just put it on Facebook and see if anyone replies. But it's not just a two-way conversation then. There's other parents then
Absolutely.
joining in. And like you say, there's probably other people reading it thinking, I don't need to know that now, but actually that's really helpful for a year or so's time. So it then includes a lot more people from within REACH as well.
And it's one of those situations, isn't it, where people, you ask a group, anyone got any questions? No one does, but actually loads of people want to hear the same answer, don't they?
Seeing what REACH is like head office, a lot of parents, it takes a big amount of energy, mental energy, to pick the phone up and speak to somebody. If they see this online,
that it's more of
that we are, that we are a little organisation with a smiley face, and that we're used to talking to people on the phone, and we never know whether the phone call's going to be somebody trying to sell us electricity, or somebody who has just had their 18-week scan, 20-week scan, and discovered that their child is going to be born with a limb deficiency. So I would want to encourage people to contact us in whatever way they feel most comfortable, and that might be a message on our Facebook page, it might be an email, or it might be picking the phone up, but it will be one of us two, Abby and I, dealing with that first point of contact.
So that's us. We're REACH. We're always here, we're always united, and no one's ever alone when they need support.